Okay, so let's get right into it. Forget everything you think you know about crypto apps. We're about to dive into a potential revolution in how we value information itself. This is the story of Polymarket and how it's seriously positioning itself to become a fundamental tool for Wall Street, maybe as soon as 2026.
And no, this isn't just hype. There's a real and, as this says, a violent tectonic shift happening right under our noses. The whole game of forecasting the future is moving. It's shifting away from the old guard of analysts and pundits and toward this global, decentralized network where, money really does the talking.
And if we had to pinpoint the moment it all went mainstream, it might just be January 7th, 2026. That's when Polymarket announced this exclusive partnership with Dow Jones. Now think about that. It's the first time a crypto-native app plugged directly into the information pipeline of what we call TradFi, traditional finance. This was way more than just a press release. It was basically a bridge being built between two completely different worlds.
Which brings us to our first big idea here, Wall Street's new truth machine. Because that Dow Jones partnership wasn't just about sharing data. It really signaled the arrival of a brand new way for the financial world to figure out what's actually true.
See, at the heart of this new machine is this concept called capital-weighted consensus. The idea is actually pretty simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Instead of relying on polls or expert opinions or what people say they believe, the truth is determined by what people are willing to bet real money on. Conviction is measured in cold, hard cash.
And this gives rise to something totally new, probabilistic journalism. Just imagine reading a Wall Street Journal article that doesn't just quote some analyst's opinion. Right next to it, there's a real-time probability chart from Polymarket, a chart that's backed by millions of dollars in bets. This is the crucial point, right? It moves information away from being subjective to being objective, data-driven.
And if you're thinking this is just some small-scale experiment, think again. The scale is already wild. In 2025 alone, Polymarket processed nearly $9 billion in trading volume. And that massive volume was driven by a super engaged base of over 300,000 active traders. These aren't just casual users. These are people actively pricing the future every single day in real time.
So of course, Wall Street noticed, and they didn't just notice, they acted. The Intercontinental Exchange, we call it ICE, but this is the parent company of the New York Stock Exchange, they made a jaw-dropping $2 billion strategic investment. This wasn't just a venture bet, it was a massive signal that the old guard sees this as the future. But even with that kind of validation, the path forward is, well, it's anything but certain.
Because Polymarket's journey to becoming this truth terminal is not going to be easy. It's facing two really enormous challenges that could absolutely stop it dead in its tracks.
The first threat? It's external. It's their chief rival, Kalshi. And you can see from this table the battle lines are drawn very clearly. Just look at the market share for 2025. Kalshi is commanding almost 3/4 of the entire market. So why is that? Well, it's because they're fully licensed in the US, they settle in dollars, which gives them a direct pipeline to the traditional financial system. Polymarket, on the other hand, is crypto-native. It wins on cultural relevance, on speed. It's a classic disruptor versus the incumbent showdown.
But the second challenge, that one's internal. And it's a threat that strikes right at the very heart of what makes Polymarket valuable in the first place. I mean, what happens if this shiny new truth machine can be hacked?
This brings us to what's known as the Oracle problem, and nothing illustrates it better than the infamous Zelensky suit incident. A market was created on whether the Ukrainian president would wear a suit to a NATO summit. He wore something that, looked a lot like a suit, but the Oracle, the thing that decides the outcome, initially ruled no. This sparked huge fears that large token holders could just vote to distort reality to protect their own losing bets. And if your truth machine can be corrupted, well, it's pretty much worthless.
So the big question is, how is Polymarket fighting back against these existential threats? Well, they've got a two-pronged strategic counterattack. It involves a massive upgrade to both their technology and their entire economic model.
First up, they're tackling the tech. The plan is to move to their very own Layer 2 chain. This is a three-part strategy. 1. Get sovereign performance, so transactions are crazy fast. 2. Capture more value from their own network. And 3, this is crucial, use something called account abstraction to get rid of user friction, making it feel less like a clunky crypto app and more like a simple, seamless website.
The second part of this counterattack is all about the economics, the new Poly token. And this is not just for speculation. The token's utilities are designed specifically to solve their biggest problems. See Oracle staking? That's a direct answer to the Zelensky incident, making the dispute process more secure. Sequencer staking helps secure the new network. And of course, fee discounts give heavy traders a reason to stick around. It's a token with a real integrated purpose.
So, all of this sets the stage for 2026. It is shaping up to be the year where everything gets decided. Polymarket's entire future is probably going to be won or lost across 3 critical battlefields.
And these 3 decisive battles are crystal clear. First, you have the technology war. They absolutely have to pull off a flawless L2 migration to even compete with Kalshi on user experience. Second, the data war. They have to use that Dow Jones partnership to prove their data isn't just interesting, it's indispensable. And finally, the compliance war. They have to keep innovating on the edge without falling off a regulatory cliff. Seriously, the outcome of these 3 battles will determine everything.
If they win these battles, Polymarket could become a foundational layer of our entire information economy. And that leaves us with a fascinating and maybe even a little unsettling final question. In a world where any future event can be given a real-time price, what does the very concept of truth even become?